Welcome everyone. We'll call this meeting to order and just really want those who's amendment to the budget of 10.2.1 staff report. Welcome everyone here with us tonight, gallery, and those that are moving in from home. All are welcome to the change. And I'll ask everyone now to rise for hands. Welcome everyone. We'll call this meeting to order and just really want those who's amendment to the budget of 10.2.1 staff report. Welcome everyone here with us tonight. As we gather, we are reminded this place that here is situated between 29 and steep, rich Indigenous history, home with nations, Inuit Indians. As a community, have a responsibility to honor and respect this territory. Continue to live upon it, practice and spirituality, tied with the land, and develop a relationship with territory. Spirit, reconciliation, and truth, we acknowledge shall be shown in people.
The council approved the agenda then.
Mayor's discussion. Question in favor? Carried 6. Acknowledge that Councilor Denham is not here this time. And we on disclosure of peculiar interest in the general nature of our area disclosure. Councilor,
Thank you very much. Item 12.1.2, South Huron Arts Center. The general nature being that chair of the collective partner organization, the Sept Arts Center. So I'll set that in discussion.
thank you. Any good disclosures at this time? Presentation and delegations. One, we want my friends from the your health system. Neil, Warden, Neil, and Martin. John. Welcome. This is your first time here, Mr. Neil.
Yes, it is, and thank you very much, Mayor Finch, and to Deputy Mayor and all members of the administration. Thank you very much for this opportunity for us to address the council this evening. Jimmy True is our CEO, and I must indicate that it was Jimmy's intent to be here tonight. Obviously, something else has come up last minute. He's not responded to my text last night. So, when you're CEO of Huron Health Systems, things can happen. So, thank you very much for this opportunity. I am here as the chair of the Huron Health System, and joining me as our past chair, certainly no stranger to this group, Mr. Bruce Shaw. We also have the chair of the foundation, Rob Tate, and our executive director, Kristen McCann, and also board member of HHS, Pat O'Rourke, with us this evening. Everyone has read the presentation that was presented to council, so I'm not going to go over that word for word. The bottom line of the situation is that currently we are in contravention, and I say we, the Huron Health Systems, as it relates to the situation with the clinic here in South Huron and in the town of Exeter. And I will read an excerpt, and that is the fact that the operational costs of the clinic, which currently are about $500,000 a year, are covered by the hospital funds, and this contravenes the hospital sector accountability act. So this must be addressed. I don't have to share with you that South Huron is a very growing municipality, and I can assure you Huron County is very proud of it. With the amount of growth that is happening here, and there'll be more residents. We know about a 14.5% increase in population in the next 24 months that needs to be addressed as far as the healthcare system. To do that, we have an additional physician that has been recruited to come to South Huron in the Exeter Hospital. However, the medical clinic does not have sufficient room to accommodate this physician. It is very paramount to always look forward and have enough physicians to address the need of the population. This is why we're here. So it's twofold. One is to acknowledge the situation, and I would suggest that there is a model that is used throughout Huron County and far beyond our borders, where the actual municipality where the hospital resides is responsible. St. Goderich, that has probably 18 positions in that medical clinic. The town took that on years ago, and it's been very, very successful. The second, and before I leave that, I would like to say that the Huron Health Systems has applied for funding with the Ministry of Health. The decision, we are told, will be later this year, in the fall. So this is not an immediate request. This is on the horizon of South Huron, and that's why we're here. So there's no surprises. So at this present time, we have made application to the Ministry of Health, and we would certainly be very hopeful that they would look upon this favor. The second part of it is the fact that I'm going to let our past chair speak to this more fulsomely than I, and that is the fact that collaboration is always good. And so we would look forward to a committee that would be struck, that would be comprised of a representative from South Huron Council. It's very important to have our physicians involved with that, our CEO of Huron Health Systems, community members, that sort of thing. We want the best for South Huron. So with that, before I turn it over, if there's anything that I have mentioned that spurs any questions or comments, I'd be more than happy to answer that, and then I'll turn it over.
Any questions for award review at this point? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and our past chair.
Chambers?
Thanks, Ben, your worship and members of council. What I like to do is really stress certain aspects of attention. The first is the importance in our community of a walk-in clinic. That's important. How do we get there? Said here, building is outlived the juices. So it's had different morphs, and it's grown, it's matured, and now have a building that's too small for our needs. So we could go ahead and renovate it, and that's possible. But a more permanent building is necessary, something that addresses our needs for the future. And I suggest that this is where council shows leadership and takes the lead. We, in the past, have had 3 projects mentioned in the letter that required some thought. And council today suggests that we get citizen input. So, council has struck committees, and those committees looked at an arena, one town hall, and nursing home. In each of those cases, those major products that were the outcome of work done in this community by this community. In fact, eventually, the fact that the government assistance, as far as the community is concerned, was the greatest grant that ever was given in the 70s for arenas, and that's the time arenas were being closed all over the province. So there are successes, there are good things. But anyway, those three projects have all come alive. That's the past. Today, Rotary Club and other people in Grand Bend have been petitioning council to do something for the community center. And a presentation was made to the Life Insurance Council. They strike a committee to study it and see what they can do with the community center. Well, anyway, the council did more than we expected. They immediately struck a committee, which was pushed down the ball. Then they are financing feasibility study because they realized that this is something that's important. I'm saying that's a model that we can follow here. And I think it's important that you people take an active role in this, provide legitimacy to what's being done. If people on their own, whether it's the foundation, the doctors, the hospitals, try to do something, there's going to be all kinds of conflicts of interest. There's going to be suspicions around that somebody's trying to feather their own nest. Like council taking first step, creating a legitimate, bona fide council, then I think that we can do something, because I think this is something we all need, and we all appreciate the importance of. I think the movement shakers and extra naturally able to, of course, contribute to this. I don't want any doubt in that at all. I think this is a project that we can all get behind, something important. And I think that once you strike the committee, and we'll be glad to give you advice if you need it. But the committee should be struck with dynamic people on it, prepared to do something in a time limit. I think you have to act pretty quickly, appoint the committee. The committee is looking at so many options, and there's no need for lollygagging and delaying this for 6 months or a year. I think the committee report is given in your hands by the 1st of January. Well thought out, well argued, suggesting all the options there and the ramifications, so that you can endorse, hopefully, recommendation and move ahead quickly in the new year. Immediately. That's and I'm open to any questions, Mike.
Any questions?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mr. Mayor, with your permission, I would like to introduce Jimmy True, our CEO, and he is more than capable of responding to any questions.
Well, thank you very much for your delegation and presentation this evening, informing us of health care. I think we can all agree reports for making the long-term health stability of the community. I know just a question within the vein of the does cover this team apply for beyond just look for something.
Great question. That 500,000 the current operation. Patient once approved, the street will provide community to hire. So whether they operate one of the things that's was to there are about 1,000 applications. We have been successful in recruiting a position who will take on that 1,000 applications, but he needs a space. And so that this is the
Any comments?
As far as was their stations, yeah, the plan is to weigh the relationship. There's is because I know ours is a little bit. I think ours is a little bit different. My understanding is once, but
so that's a great question. As you look around the province, all mostly have been driven by the municipality to know to attract business or by that. Then start back. So that I can speak from Daughter's point of view. That's what the town of Daughters did. They built a new process and the position they back to.
I don't know whether this is the proper time or not, but who decides the study area on this? Because it's not strictly South Europe. It is there's a huge area outside that uses this same facility. So is that too soon now to decide or have that discussion, or when is that appropriate?
I think, in that briefing, this letter we did. So that can be instructed the users, if you will, and as you see, we do see quite a bit of patients from around company, and so we would certainly look to see.
So the building today. We've been looking at a public-private partnership to build a new building, because I know there's always developers that are looking for opportunities to partner in things. Just wondering if that is a model that I know anything you do to that property probably has to go through rigorous checks with the Ministry of Health to allow anything on that property, but just wondering if any investigation is done in the past.
It's a good question. There hasn't been serious investigation on that. We have been in the past.
Let's go on.
Thank you for the presentation. This is kind of a clarity question, I think. So the asks here tonight, I heard a couple of different things. I think one of the asks was to basically strike a committee of council. Committee that has a council member on it, it's very major makeup that makes it committee of council. And then ask number 2 is a sort of a mandate of this committee, from marching orders to this committee, is to kind of look at the feasibilities for a new building. Private partnership. The request for a grant from some other level of government, or is that the second?
No, not really. The two asks. One, whatever an investigation is like.
I think it's should you say something about what one of the ways the operating costs, at least there's a kind of lease act from the municipality to the medical. So how does that work in situations where a municipality is already paying a hefty kind of operation cost? They just paying back the cost of the lease to the operational $500,000 in our case?
No, the operational cost is separate from the actual. Really information. Fine.
Situation we find ourselves in today in terms of being out of sync, compliance. That's been going on for some years.
Yes, and I think the ministry's been very lenient on us, because they know that without it, have their competitors, and to not a hospital. And so they kind of turn on one. But I think with budgets, and the renegotiation of each service. We could find ourselves in a situation where they might say, infinite. Every few years we go to that.
And so I won't pretend to know all the ins and outs of the situation as it is today. But I'm just wondering, sort of, maybe in return for financial support, is there some sort of benefit hospital getting in terms of, I noticed that there's a comment somewhere in the presentation material that said all of the doctors are coming to the emergency. Yeah, so was that struck for that purpose? Like, I don't know how that works in other hospital clinic kind of situations. Like, isn't the hospital getting some kind of a benefit as a result of it?
Yes, you're absolutely right. A hospital does get benefit from that, in that position to provide coverage as part of their contract with the hospital. And so we provide that space for work. In return, they provide walking clinic hours and provide emergency. Yeah, to me.
And so the ministry is aware their hospital is getting the thing. And we still don't see that reason to continue.
Well, part of that, what the position is right now, we call it boundary organization, and in terms of that organization and the relationship with the industry, for the ministry to provide them free service money or audit money, their commitment is to provide full service back. community hospital, and so that's kind of the relationship we have. In terms of
And then obviously a very big city. I know I'm kind of on the back here in some cities, but there's a lot of stories. Lots of history. Yes, and I heard comments from Shaw about you know the council stepping up, the municipality stepping up for a variety of things. Community centers, Atlantic Shores, arenas, with South Huron, and sort of those kinds of projects are really historically more municipality type. And I'm just trying to grapple mentally with hospitals. It's not something that a lower tier municipality has typically financed. And so I'm trying to come to terms with that in my mind. I don't have an answer for anyone at the delegation today, but it is a concern. It is also a concern of knowing that there's regional usage of the clinic, and you add a fifth position, 1,000 people may get serviced. There's also an Ontario helpline to help people find their doctors. And that line is not just without municipal boundaries. They will send you to Luton, Zurich, or wherever. And so I'm thinking in terms of we bring on a fifth, that problem could be bigger, or that situation. So I'm just trying to figure out how it is that an lower tier municipality can jump into that kind of financial ask of its taxpayers to support what I always considered to be more of a provincial response.
And just to answer that, there's actually a clear distinction. I'm not asking for support for hospital, I'm asking support that provides.
Right, but it's self-care.
Right, absolutely, self-care. But I would say that self-care, we kind of look at a thriving and healthy community, really needs involvement of the municipality, not decisions or a hospital. We are at the acute end of healthcare. People come to see us when they run out of hospital. So, this clinic really helps with health promotion, health prevention, making sure that there's good health strategies for the community so that they don't have to come to the hospital. And I would prefer that people don't come to the hospital because when you come to the hospital, you're really last day, right? Because the hospital should be taking care of the sick. So to build a new clinic or have in the community, you're absolutely right. You build it in the company, right? And we've seen them some of the different issues. See, people know that there's a clinic here, they will come. And you're right, the South Sea Fund is will now to establish a healthcare. You're going to end up with more safety. Homelessness, you can have a bunch of unrelated health that could be prevented if you had really robust planning.
Excuse me, Jim, just a clarification on your point. CEO of foundations doing a lot of research, and then Jimmy was asked back too, that most municipalities do have a budget item for the hospitals. That's not new. It's the lifeblood of many hospitals. Some of the contributions. Others.
I don't have the funds.
Honestly, all your questions, they're not. Good, shoot, good questions, these are the things. We're going to consider. And just the majority of the. Do, but, for Jenny mentioned about point primary care is super important to me. Secure having access to this clinic. It's not going to future proof. Thank you.
Make a final comment, Mr. Mayor. And that is the fact that I think all of us should be very proud of our physicians, the way that our physicians, nurses, and all of our staff have stepped up. And here in health systems is one of the few systems that does not have an emergency department. We read about them all over Huron County, all over Ontario. And we need to support our physicians because we made it very, very clear. It's up to the physicians and the nurses and the staff to provide the care. And Huron Health Systems to support them in what they need to do to accomplish that. We want our emergency departments open, and they have done.
So each one.
You had mentioned that we built facilities. The positions lease it back to them. Does the lease include repayment of the building?
Thank you very much, folks, for your foundation. Excellent. And thank you very much to the staff. Cool. Of course, changing.
Thanks.
Thus, the council is its foundation in the Huron health system and protected by food and meal, shop, and
And it was by Deputy Mayor. Vote discussion. Moving on to and Tom Roach. All right, Tom, come on in.
Yeah, super pleased to be here. I have a couple of committee members, Harry Stewart and Mary Peterson, joined tonight to provide a little work to request. Anyway, thanks very much. And tonight really is a slide is to give you an update on what's been happening and
where we're at and where we're going in the future. And of course, as I mentioned when I was here in the spring, I would ask for a 3-year commitment of 50,000 each year. So those sort of are the key messages for tonight. Next slide. We talked a bit about community foundation. It's different. There are lots of great foundations, hospitals. Community foundations are a little bit different, and they're set up under the Community Foundations Canada model. So the Sunset Community Foundation has now extended its geographic boundaries to include all of Huron County, plus Lambton Shores, and we're currently working with Middlesex to see if they might wish to be part of the Sunset Community Foundation area. And we'll talk more about the benefits of being a part of that foundation. Just the facts up to date here. So the foundation has 3.2 million capital funds, and it has given away 2.1 million in grants to community groups. That 2.1 does not include the extra funds that it's getting from the federal government, which I'll talk about that in a minute. Federal government has chosen 3 groups to deliver programs for the federal government. Next slide. The types of programs that the foundation and the Vitality Fund for South Huron will support are very broad and cover most about any group that we can imagine. Next slide, please. Partnership with South Huron Vitality Fund started in 2019, an agreement, and thank you very much for that agreement and 3 years of each. Next slide. So there's just trying to provide a bit of clarity. There's the South Huron Community Fund, which includes the Vitality Fund for South Huron. Then there's some family funds, and some of those family funds are for specific causes or projects, such as the Jack Riddle Family Fund, which goes to a scholarship for a student graduating and going to post-secondary school, and any student in Huron or Perth in the Catholic or public system are eligible for that scholarship. Just one example. Next slide, please. And our latest family fund was at the bottom there, the Theophilus Family Fund, which is a great addition. Next slide, please. So some of the grants that have been issued the last few years from the Vitality Fund and the South Huron Fund are there. They're not huge dollars, but they are significant to the groups that get them. There was the one this year to help celebrate the 105th anniversary for Exeter. And you can see the variety and the amount of grants that the individuals are getting. Next slide, please. And these are some more. And the one I wanted to just point out as an example of the impact it can have is the Huron County Food Distribution Center is the partner organization for a group called the Volunteer Income Tax Committee group. And this volunteer group of accountants and people like accountants who are able to do income tax received a grant last year from the Sunset Foundation. And their time is voluntary. They did hundreds of income tax returns for families who just for one reason or another did not file income tax returns for 7 years. Now the impact of their work and the donation, what the grant was to pay the mileage, that's all the government money. They were able to return to these families in Huron County over $2 million. So for a small grant of $3,500. This year, they're getting $500 from South Huron Vitality Fund because that's to help them to the families in South here. That would be the cost of the mileage. And I just show you that the impact, even though it's small dollars. Next slide. Impact investing, this is something new. Some community foundations are moving towards helping out with low income or subsidized housing. In Erie County, they have set up an entrepreneur fund, which is going to be using the Huron Community Futures Group to provide funds, grants, and mortgages to individuals who want to start a business. So that's a little bit different there. But the interest on that money will be coming back to groups in Huron County. Next slide. I mentioned about other funds that are coming to the foundation. So you'll see on this slide that there's the Red Cross, Community Foundations Canada, and United Way. So during COVID, these three groups helped deliver funds from the federal government to groups that were struggling or needed help as a result of COVID. So this press release, I don't know if Scott got it yet, that it went out today. And the Sunset Foundation handed out over the COVID period $475,000 to community groups. Federal money flowed through, was not included in those other figures that I showed you. So, and the press release will show the groups that got the money. There's 14 different groups that got funding all across Huron County and Glenn. Next slide, please. This is the types of funds, and my friends from the hospital left, but you know, to me it would be good if someone or some business started a fund, probably the donor designated fund for the hospital. The annual check would be small, but over time it's going to grow. And those are the types of funds that are available for individuals or companies. Next slide, please. The way people can donate, there's several ways that individuals or companies can donate. The one that's very appealing is the one where you gifts of securities. Because if you had some securities for, say, 20 years and they grew by 2 or 3 times, that's taxable income. But if you donate it, there's no income tax payable at all. So that's popular with people. Next slide, please. So, and just sort of in summary, I want to be very thankful. We're very proud of the work that South Huron Council has been able to help with us in partnership. And we would like to see another 3-year, $50,000 a year agreement to help us continue providing grants and increase the grants, either the size of the grants or the number of grants to community groups. Next slide, please. And we have this target of, I always tell anyone who will listen, I guess, if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. So, our target for the Vitality Fund is $500,000 by 2025. So that's what we're shooting for. And next slide. Thank you very much for your time and open to questions.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tom. Good to see you. Any questions?
It's more, sorry. It's more of a statement, so really that's it's foundations.
See anybody else? Thanks. You're welcome.
The Southern Council received a donation from the Fund Foundations and the Fund.
Please. Favor? Thank you.
The Southern Council adopted the regular council meeting policy 2023 as printed and circulated.
Move it. Concept. Need discussion? Favor?
Correspondence, agendas, minutes, and or meeting highlights of the meeting be received and presented. Upper Thames River Conservation Committee revised meeting schedule, draft minutes of June 20th and July 17th, 2023, and agenda package for August 29th, 2023. Consider business improvement area, minutes of July 12th, 2023. Franklin Widow Pool Committee, draft minutes of August 15th, 2023. Blue Water Recycling Association, meeting highlights of August 17th, 2023.
Need discussion? Well,
Yes, I just, had a question for Council Rep. I think that might be. So I noticed in the, document that the Niagara region opted out of residential cycle. I mean, don't wish to continue collection and be sort of circular materials, employee, if you will. And, I just wondered if that had any meaning for, and it was set. So, had any meaning for this municipality? You know, do we want to be the employee to circular materials, material, whatever they come up with?
yeah, I.
Well, I just appreciated, you know, as we're having discussions into the 2024 year, and start realizing if that sort of model, you know, eliminating municipalities altogether from the process is one that you would consider to be our member of municipality.
Very small.
Believe in conversation. You have to see anything. Stuff we have to process. Not there. That Southern Council received the draft minutes of the August 24th, 2023 National Community Advisory Committee, and that council accept recommendation of the National Community Advisory Committee and refer the request for a natural gas generator in the 2024 budget to the South Huron Hydroelectric Company, called the National Community Fund Committee.
To move the. Need Council Vaughn, discussion. Professional favor.
The amendment to the budget. That Southfield Council received a report of Jeremy Becker, General Manager of Community and Emergency Services, regarding the 2009 GMC Fire Command Unit. And the Southfield Council approved an amendment to the budget at a capital budget request placement of the 2009 Fire Command Unit in the amount of $75,000, and that Southfield Council authorized the use of the funds from the Fire Capital Replacement Reserve to fund the replacement of the unit.
Speed, discussion. Professional favor. 6, thank you. 23.
That Southfield Council received a report from Don Iverson, General Manager of Infrastructure and Development, re-amendment to engineering services agreement for the connecting link project. And that Southfield Council authorized amendment to BM Rock engineering services agreement to include services related to replacement of sewer and water main infrastructure within the connecting link project in the amount of $44,926.90 plus HST.
Speed. Favor.
The Southfield Council receives a report from Melissa Keller, Manager of Environmental Services, and Ann Farm, Compliance Coordinator, with results of the 2023 WQMS internal audit.
Move, please. Speed, discussion.
Team, for the next few reports here and the quality of the reports and the quality of our water system, so congratulations.
This is the only response to that at all.
Through you, Mayor, just wanted to say we have a really great team that's able to make this happen. And sorry, you're cutting in and out, so please repeat any questions that you had.
Any questions? Thank you very much for all our you and the team. Secondary discussion. Favor.
The Southfield Council receives a report from Melissa Keller, Manager of Environmental Services, and Ann Farm, Compliance Coordinator, with results of the DWQMS external audit by NSFR ISR International.
Need second. Mayor, discussion. Favor. 6. 24.
The Southfield Council receives a report from Melissa Keller, Manager of Environmental Services, and Ann Farm, Compliance Coordinator, with renewal of DWQMS Certificate of Registration from NSF ISR International.
Move, please. Need second. Support. Discussion. Favor. 6.
This one needs a volunteer. The Southfield Council receives a report from Melissa Keller, Manager of Environmental Services, and Ann Farm, Compliance Coordinator, with DWQMS 2023 Annual Management Review. And the Southfield Council selects Councilor Dietrich as the council representative to participate in this review.
So, please. Deputy Mayor, second by Council. Discussion. Favor. 4.1.
The Southfield Council receives a report from Julie Warwick, Director of Financial Services Treasurer, the annual investment report, nation only.
Move. Vote second. Mayor, discussion. Favor. 6. 22.
The Associate Council received a report from Quebec City Policy, AO Deputy Clerk, Real Stable Bayfield Conservation Authority, cost apportioning agreement. And the Associate Council approved the cost apportioning agreement between the municipality of South Huron and the Stable Bayfield Conservation Authority. And the bylaw be brought back to the required reading.
And move it, please. Need second. Vote, discussion.
Just, thanks, Becca, thanks together, and all your work on this. I know there was some last minute changes. Is there anything significant that causes you any discomfort with the revised agreement?
So as you know, they're highlighted in yellow,
It's good to see them. So, you see this.
follow the text.
Yeah, but not exactly with general council, given our first year. So the council had a year. Isn't under their belt. If I could just also make a comment here, you probably all know that from the report that it's not agreeing to sign. In terms of their portion, well, for those three items, they may not, just, it's not significant. Dollars. And I think the discussions are still going on with the spoke to saying at this point, they're not really to enable you all with really didn't want to go APC on principle, not because they matter, it's principle. And I believe it's not open to a way, and then someone will sign on. And it will be discussed in our 2024 budget. Really, it's like an FTE or anything like that. However, education and outreach might be looked at. We're not as like from the staff perspective to provide education. I don't know if that's my issue.
Discussion. Okay, most motion is.
Can you motion to that?
Some are further questions, some have the standard considering law.
Discussion. Thank you. Also. Favor? Thank you. Hearing no comments about.
Thank you very much. Busy few weeks since we last met, but I had the opportunity to attend the conference. Counselor teacher, commission and staff. We had 3 delegations, which I thought went really well. I was able to attend a couple of sessions. Keynote addresses the climate change, trade adaptation, and mitigation strategies. Yes, strategies. That's change. As you came up, what did it? Microsoft. Friends was the permitting process, and one of the municipalities started even before the pilot started. So I have requested to speak on municipalities about it, and I see in tomorrow's county council package, the county is moving forward or recommending forward with that iCloud program, and it's based on having discussions with South Huron and doing a demonstration that the other lower tiers in the county are looking to come on board as it looks. So again, congratulations. That's very well attended conference, a record setting, over 2,500 people in attendance between delegates
and all the staff that were there. So, very good sessions. Deciding one on the Sunday afternoon on the recreation centers and some of the things that need to be understood about compressor systems and like that here. And myself sat in on that one. It was very educational as far as business stuff. Facilities are getting involved in that, it's all because the material that they got funding for, put all these facilities up across Ontario, and the further discussions and one of the delegations we brought it up was the our delegation sports maybe having another lottery system for recreational upgrades, or again, 50 years later, because it's needed across Ontario by other delegates over there. So again, very well at the conference, a lot of information. Still digesting some of my notes that I've started to get. So yeah, and very good, well received delegations. The three that. So that was a comment on anal. Just a reminder that fairs this weekend, big event, fair in municipality. So weather cooperates.
Any other comments?
So I had a chance to attend these last day. Kudos to the neighborhood business committee. Again, as well, thank you, staff. Seamless.
Yeah, almost. Anything else? Anyone else? Communication.
15.1. 15.2. 15.3. 15.4. Full. 15.5.
Full.
15.6. 15.7. 15.8. 15.9. 15.10.
Here.
It's a review of our members of council from last term I attended. It's put on by the OFMN, and it's really good information, but for all members of council.
Let me tell you.
Yes, just a question on that, I can attend, I'm not attending in the past. There was also a form to fill out. Are we to fill that form out, or are we taking, our request or confirmation to go, and maybe one, request, who has to do it?
If you let other Alex and myself know, just email us at company. There will be no cost for this account.
Okay, I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
Process.
Thank you.
I'll do that.
Trying to arrange the schedule to be there, but the good news is we're hosting it in September.
Okay, there's been a number of inquiries over summertime about, bylaw response to parking streets overnight. And, I don't know if we're actually following this complaint, or if we're, nudging our bylaw to, go buy a ticket, or if we're choosing as is our right as a municipality to not bother enforcing the policy during the summer months when we're not allowing it. It's really the reason we got all these new things. On campus.
Thanks for the question, to the mayor. I'll just maybe give a little bit of a background overview of our bylaw. And so right now the bylaw has remained relatively unchanged. At that point, it was 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. and after 6 a.m. And as you said, Council Bond, council has a sort of discretion as to whether or not to publish bylaws in which to enact. Now, council has a framework, which was provided in 2021 and review. And part of that is council and staff must weigh impact non-enforcement to expectations of members of the community, the level of risk for non-enforcement, and cost. So those are some of the considerations that we use. I can tell you that the matter nature also provide for, which actually provide priorities for different bylaws. If there's multiple bylaws that the municipality can enforce. And their parking, the service level for parking bylaw is by control, proactive, and it's reactive. But under the service level, kind of deemed, was deemed a low priority. And this reason, and the explanation on the criteria is low priority is unlikely to cause health and safety issues to the public, negative impact to the community and or environment. But I can say in this particular case for parking, we have continued overnight parking. The bylaw enforcement officer does keep control, and we have followed the framework that with this parking. Might be because last time it came to council was 2021, might be a time bringing it back, maybe to create a goal and a future date. That how all of council review the framework nature to be
If I may, I would be supportive of that. It just occurs to me personally, that enforcing non-parking on the street when we don't have snow removal likely in the summer months why we're doing it. I understand we want those vehicles off for snow clearing, but, not every municipality is in the wee hours of the night during the summertime, a rigorous patrol of the streets. If you don't need it, then I'm going to continue with practice, and so.
This target council. Thank you very much. This is letter support. Looking to submit it. What your notes? Specific applications. Infrastructure. July. Explore. I just have some concerns to support. Do you have any staff reports or any information?
I think council originally, they were back earlier here in March. They gave a high level presentation of the priorities, and one of those was to install transit shelters. Since then, we haven't had any detailed conversation with Lantern Shores, but in discussion with Susan, we will be able to do that and work with transit system, not only the placement of patients, but RFPs and all the way to installation in that case. Now this, as far as the actual grant itself, is council information. They're applying for about 400, they're applying for 400,000. This is for shelters, not only for Sept, but also Lincoln Shores, Blue Water, and Sept. And municipal staff will be involved in this decision.
I'm just curious if we'd be able to maybe outline, like, one of the concerns that I have is, are we responsible? Like, is the system responsible? Shelters. Just that. It's oriented, but some of the details.
Yes, and to answer your question as far as maintenance, it's still, that would be municipal. Now, as far as in discussions, at a staff level, even though the letter said that it would be municipal construction, there is still, we will still be discussing the orange campus about the assets themselves, the orange, yeah. And certainly, send, a letter of money.
Yeah, just, the letter did say the assets installed in Sept will become the property of Sept, so. Thanks. Usage. All produced.
I really got a sense when I was reading, that material, kind of two components. One is they want us to, provide support, indication of support, so that they buy the truck, so that they can apply their grant. And then, you know, who owns the asset and all. That's great. We're not, if responding tonight to say yes, we'll support, we support everything put on the table, it's just support to go ahead and apply the grant. A good way to look at things.
At this point, yes, verbal discussion only, that is the, understanding.
So with that in mind, I definitely say.
Thank you through the chair. And yes, I would drop an alternate letter of support, and it did communicate that. That was,
Southern Council provide a letter of support for municipality Clinton Shores, Huron Shores Area Transit application for rural transit solutions.
Discussion. Favor. Thank you very much. Recommendations.
that Southern Council received communication items not otherwise dealt with.
Mayor, second. Any discussion? Favor. Here, 6. Both session, we have none, we'll report to both session.
The Southern Council gives first, second, third, and final reading to bylaw 50.3, being a bylaw to authorize the agreement with His Majesty the King in right of Ontario as represented by the Ministry of Transportation for funding under the Connecting Links program and contribution agreement.
Teacher, second by Dean, discussion. Favor. Here, 6. 18.
That Southern Council gives first, second, third, and final reading to bylaw 51/2023, being a bylaw to adopt a flag pole.
Dean, second by Council Vaughn, discussion. Question in favor. Here, 6.
The Southern Council gives first, second, third, and final reading to bylaw 52/2023, being a bylaw to authorize the signing of a memorandum of understanding with the Exeter Non-Holding Club for the purposes of formalizing a working relationship with the municipality of Sept and assisting in the management of the property known as 298 Main Street South, Exeter, the Exeter Long Bowling Facility.
Steve, second. Vaughn, any discussion? Question in favor? 5, 6, thank you. 18.4.
The Southborough Council gives first, second, third, and final reading, bylaw 53/2023, being a bylaw to delegate authority to and adjust property taxes pursuant to section 354, 357, 358, 359 of the Municipal Act 2001, the staff, and delegate authority to the assessment report under subsections 1 and 5 with respect to applications made under section 357, 1D1.
Moved, Council Beecher, second by Council Dean, any discussion? All question, all in favor? 6, 2.
The Southborough Council gives first, second, third, and final reading to bylaw 53/2023, being a bylaw to confirm matters addressed at September 5th, 2023, public and regular council meeting.
Moved. Dean, second by Council Beecher, any discussion? All question in favor? 6, 20.
The Southborough Council hereby adjourns at 10:27 p.m. to meet again on